Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. This video is going to end up being pre-recorded for the 10 o'clock Central Time slot that is when we do our first Tuesday workshop. I am in New York and finishing up today, getting ready to head home in a little bit. So that's the reason for the pre-recording. And you're going to have to excuse me a second. I have a little guy over here who needs to turn down the volume on his iPad. Keep it off, please. So in last month's workshop, we talked about goals and goal setting and setting balanced goals and not letting goals take over your life and not feeling guilty about not achieving your goals. And because we just goals, I think, help those of us who have dreams figure out how to achieve them. So super important. But today I want to talk about routines, because a lot of times we set goals for something and we don't carve out the time in our schedule to make progress on that goal and achieve it. So we need to figure out, once we've set the goals, we need to figure out how to build those into our schedules. And so I wanted to talk to you today about routines. These little flyaways are going to drive me crazy. I just got to fix them. Okay. So when I sold Day Designer, the planner company, 3.5 years ago, my routines instantly changed. Oh, really fast before I go there. My goal for this workshop is to give you guys different ideas that you can incorporate into your routines. I'm going to talk about my personal routines and try to just give you guys some insight into those so that you can incorporate these in your own life. Okay, so when I sold Day Designer a couple of years ago, the day after the sale closed, instantly my routine changed in a way that I've never experienced in life before at all. I went from one day running a business and making all the decisions related to, not all of them, I have great people that helped me, but making decisions related to that business. My life revolved around that business up until the day that sale closed. The day after the sale closed, I had nothing to do, literally, like make sure that the people who bought it were happy. But it definitely wasn't like, there wasn't really, I didn't have any responsibilities anymore. Not no responsibilities, because who has no responsibilities, but life changed drastically. And I went from having a ton of stuff to do every day to just having nothing to do every day. And that's when I realized that I didn't need a daily planner for that season of life. I recognized that the season was different, so the system needed to change as well. And our routines changed, like just everything changed all at once. It was the craziest thing. So I've spent a lot of time over the past few years thinking about routines. I have school-age children, and as they get older, routines add order to our household. I know that whatever routine I can program into my children's hearts and minds is going to be one that they carry with them throughout their life. So they're important. I have a few bullet points on this too. Hang on, let me go to notes. Oh, here we go. Routines help us preserve brain power. They become something that our subconscious does and frees up our conscious mind to make decisions and, do the, what is it, like the caveman, like stay alive thing, survive, fight or flight. Okay. Routines help us change habits and achieve goals. Like I said just a minute ago, when you set those goals, a lot of times it's really hard to carve out a massive amount of time in your schedule to make progress on those goals. It takes like iron-willed commitment, but if you can attach the actions that you need to make, that if you can attach the actions you need for making progress on your goals to your routines, you're going to be more likely to make progress on that goal. Routines help us mark the beginning of something and the end of something. So a transition routine, I'm going to talk more about that in a second. Adding that to my notes to talk about in a second. Routines provide boundaries and guidelines for the events in our days. So what I mean by that is we all have routines. We all have things that we do. It might be a certain way that you drive when you're getting out of the neighborhood, but we do things repeatedly and similarly, and they add a cadence and sort of organization to our lives. And they help us free up mental space to be more present in the moment. So like when you're brushing your teeth, you're not thinking about brushing your teeth. You're thinking about what you've got to go do that day, because brushing your teeth is a routine. So when we talked about goal setting, we talked about balanced goal setting is all about focusing on the process and not the end results, and that changing your routines and habits is the best way to make progress on your goals. So I want to share with you guys a little bit about some routines that have worked for me and my family. First up, we have Sunday routine. So definitely Saturday routine is going to be like pancakes, breakfast, hanging out, slow days. Love that. Sunday routine is probably a little bit challenging. It involves, we go to church. Church is hard for me right now for personal reasons. But it's a part of our Sunday routine, and I haven't been going, but my family goes, but I probably should be going. So anyway, enough about that. And then another part of our routine on Sunday is we have soup. We do. Oh my gosh. Meal plan routine, and Sundays are soup. So everybody in the family knows that, and we immediately default to that. We'll either make soup with something that we've got in the fridge, or we'll plan a special soup or stew or something like that, chili, and get that prepared. Like Super Bowl Sunday, you want chili and stuff like that. But one of the pieces of our Sunday routine is we don't do activities on Sunday. My kids can play with friends, but we get ready for the week ahead. We make sure that the meal plan is in place. We order the groceries. We tidy the house. We make sure the backpacks are packed. Make sure we've got lunches ordered, all those things. So that's just a little bit of our Sunday routine. And I'd love if you guys have additions to things or things that have worked for your family. I'd love it if you would add those in the comments here. We do after school routines. It's a little bit, this is definitely when life starts to get chaotic. We do, backpacks are supposed to go in the same location every time. Another thing that I love, and we're going to talk about decluttering next month. And one thing that I absolutely love is making a home for things in my house. Normally it involves carpentry and woodwork. So my handy guy loves me too for that. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute, or talk about that next month. So anyway, backpacks are supposed to go in their place. Shoes are supposed to go in the shoe drawers. Again, doesn't always happen. Everybody wants a snack, and then we all have to kind of go, to tutoring, or, the activities kind of start to shift at that point. And then that, of course, evolves into an evening routine. So the next thing I want to talk about is your morning and evening routine. Our evening routine has been disrupted because I have school-age children, and we're starting to get into that, like everybody's going a different direction thing. Somebody's got dance, somebody's got tutoring, just all these things. So trying to figure out what our morning and evening routines need to be is something that I'm working on right now. It used to be that our afternoon routine just segued really smoothly into our evening routine. But now our evening routine, the time that we have to perform an evening routine is going to is condensed to less than an hour. I mean, and I'm talking kids take baths, in bed, prayers, read book. There's just a lot that we want to get done in those after hours that doesn't happen unless we're really intentional about how we plan our time. So one of our notepads is actually a morning and evening routine notepad. I wanted to create that for just as a way for you to like brainstorm and notice like what are the things that you do in your morning and evening routine, and then what are the things that you could layer in efficiently that would add meaning or depth or progress to your goals. You know, like what would be really where like looking at your routines, like taking notice of the things that you do and then looking at your routines is going to help you figure out where you can squeeze stuff in, just in the margins. It's amazing what you can get done in 5 or 15 minutes that sometimes we just don't do because we, if I start that, it's going to take longer. So my morning routine, kids are off to school. David does workouts in the morning. I have a 7:30 call every morning. It's working. It is so working. I get up, I get my coffee, I call my business partner. So it's working really well. I would love to know what your morning routines are. I mean, literally, mine is up, coffee, call, and in my pajamas. It works. Like I said before, meal plan has become a huge routine for our family. We implemented this last August when school started. It's Monday meatballs, Tuesday tacos, Wednesday breakfast, Thursday chicken, Friday fish, Saturday steak, Sunday soup. And there are a million ways that all of that can go. For example, like hamburgers are just meatballs that have been flattened. So we could do like hamburgers on Monday nights. So there's plenty of variety, but normally we do like spaghetti and meatballs on Monday nights, chicken or beef tacos on Tuesday, sometimes quesadillas. Breakfast for dinner is always bacon, eggs, and pancakes or waffles. So anyway, it's just become something that we do. It's become part of our weekly routine. And then the next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is transition routines. And what I mean by this is we all have to perform like different types of tasks at work or at home or throughout our days. So I have computer related tasks. So I try to batch my tasks. So if something has to be done on a computer, I make the big long to-do list, and then I'm basically like, okay, I've got a computer list. I need a computer day, like a day that I'm going to have to sit and stare at a screen and get stuff done. And I also know that on a computer day, I'm going to need a lot of breaks and a lot of coffee, like a lot of moving around, feeling comfortable, getting the vibe, all that stuff. I have a hard time switching gears from and I don't know if you do too, I would love to know, but from if I'm in computer work mindset and I have to switch to like writing mindset, like writing the book proposal, or I have to switch to meal planning, or I have to switch to someone's asking me a question about something and I'm going to have to, turn off the creative brain and turn on the math brain. And so one thing that I'm trying to do in my life right now that I'm working on is what are the routines that I can create and put in place that are going to help me transition more smoothly. So basically I'm trying to find the gears, I'm trying to notice and identify the gears in my habits, in my actions, and I need the mechanism. I need that gear switching to be really seamless, and I need it to not take a long time, and I need it to not be clunky. I need it to just work. Like like gears are supposed to work. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have the answer on that yet, but I share with you that because I'm a work in progress. And I think there's probably a way, and it's probably physical. It's probably like, okay, close the computer, go put it on the charger, what, and then something that is that, so an action that denotes like we're finished with that activity, and now we're going to move to another one. And there are always interruptions that happen in a day. They say it takes 38 minutes to get back on track after an interruption. 38 minutes, the better part of an hour. If I could gear switch more smoothly, like another thing that might help, I'm just brainstorming here as I go, but it's just writing down. So if I get interrupted, just taking a pen and a piece of paper and writing down, what was I doing when I got interrupted? Where was I? So that I can come back to that really quickly. And so maybe that's part of it, just noting, maybe even saying verbally, I was working on, files, creative files, cover design files, whatever. That might be a way to transition, but I have so many interruptions and so many things happening throughout my day because I'm back to business ownership with the new Whitney English Planner Company, and I need to start transitioning. I want to be more efficient about how I switch gears, how I transition, and the answer to that is going to be in routines. So I would love to know from you guys what routines have been helpful for you. I'd love to hear, like, leave a comment below about what works and what doesn't work. What have routines done for your family and your people? How have they worked in your life? And then my last little bit of deep thoughts by Whitney before I go is how to guard your routines. And once we have our routines in place, there is always going to be something or someone tugging at us to say, oh, go do this or come do this or blah, blah, things like that. And right now, my husband has a great workout routine going. And if I have to interrupt that by asking him to help me with something, it's not going to be good for him. So in guarding our routines, we also need to respect the routines of others in our family and what's working for them. And then hopefully it's something that you guys and your family can work on together. So the next planning workshop is March 3rd, and we'll be talking about decluttering. And I hope you will join me then. Thanks for hopping on. Bye.